When we talk about foothold traps, you're going to hear two different styles, long springs and coil springs. Today what we're going to do is talk about the difference between both, the positive and negatives of each. Here are both style traps. I'm going to start with this one right here. This is a long spring trap, and it gets its name because it has long springs. These two wings on each side are actually the springs that cause the jaws to close once the trigger is set off. Now, the positive of a trap like this is that there's barely anything that can break. You're never going to probably break a spring on this, and there's only really two moving parts. You have your pan and your dog, so you don't have to worry too much about anything here breaking. The negative of this is when the trap is set, it has a big footprint, meaning you have to dig a lot bigger trap bed to get this down in because you're dealing with these big long springs on each side. But for a long-term type scenario or an extended wilderness scenario, this is going to be the preferred trap because there's less probability of anything breaking on it. Next, we're going to look at a coil spring. The coil spring trap gets its name because it has coiled springs that close the jaws once the trap's set off. The positive with these traps is that they don't have a big footprint, so you can dig out the dirt and set these in. You don't have to worry about having a larger area or creating a larger area that you need to fill in with dirt and camouflage better when setting your trap. So that's the positive with this. The negative with this is that these springs have a tendency to break. I've had several traps that springs have broken within 2 or 3 trapping seasons, and when that happens, they're pretty much impossible to use at that point. You have to put them off to the side until you get new springs. So that's a huge downfall in a long-term self-reliance type scenario, but they are still good usable traps. So that's it, long springs, coil springs. It really comes down to personal preference. Like I said a second ago though, these traps are going to have less probability of breaking. Okay, so I use both. I like these for the tradition and the long-term sustainability with them, but really both work well. Use them, see what you like, see what holds your animals better. I can't tell you one way or another because I use both styles, but it's just to educate you on the different styles. There are some oddballs out there that you might see, jump traps and things like that, but the majority of traps you're going to see are going to be one of the two. This was Dan Wowack with Coalcracker Bushcraft. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com. And until the next video, stay in the woods, guys.